Good afternoon from the Second Age of Reason. We are here to notice the sky is gray, the air is cool, the wind from the northwest brings the smoke of autumn, though it yet is summer. Flocks of geese heading south tell us of the near future events. And so we talk today about the changing realms of ruling and polity and governance and whatever. And there's a great aversion to taxes and government debts and things. And just on a side note, let's just say, so many people say, this is the greatest country in the world. And it's great because we pay our taxes. And wouldn't that make you want to pay your taxes so that you could have the greatest country in the world, so that you are paying for the greatest country in the world? And so along those lines, we're going to talk about a small little subject called economy. Economy is when, buying and selling and money and labor and goods and services and all that stuff. And I'm going to use an example, and I don't mean to be advertising for anybody, but in this commercial society, there's no way that you can really avoid advertising. So I bought myself a lunch today, and you probably have seen lunches like this, and we're going to open it up and see what's inside. This here cost me $1 American, which isn't very much. In paper, fake, what do they call that? It's borrowed money from the Federal Reserve. It was used to make it. And it comes with a sandwich in a bag made of paper, with printing, high quality printing in color inks. And then to make sure you don't get too messy, they include napkins so that you can be tidy. The sandwich comes also wrapped in a paper thing with printed materials on it so you can read while you're eating. Now, mind you, this is only at $1 for this sandwich. And so, let's see what we get for $1. You get all this paper. Paper comes from trees. Trees, you can see around me, grow all over the place. And then they have to be harvested. They have to be chopped up. They have to be turned into pulp. They have to be put into sheets of paper. They have to be sent as rolls to various printers to print the labeling on them. Then it has to be stored. Then it has to be transported to the place where these things are made. And that's all costs money. It takes time, it costs money, it takes space. It's amazing what you get for $1. Now I open up this little sandwich here. And what's inside of this sandwich? It contains not one, but two patties of beef. It contains onions. It contains cheese. It contains bread. Probably also contains ketchup and mustard and pickles. A lot of different food groups, all assembled into this neat little packet that you can eat. And you eat it and you get nourishment. It's probably good for, a whole meal for the average office worker. So, for $1 you get this. Now you think about what's made in this hamburger. You have pieces of meat that come from cows. Those cows had to live on a farm. They were born. They were raised till they were big enough to be turned into hamburgers. Then they were turned into hamburgers. And then the hamburger had to be processed, sterilized, stored, transported, sent to all the places, refrigerated, until finally I go to the restaurant and buy it for $1. The same for the bread. Wheat. Wheat is grown in fields. The wheat is grown It's harvested, it's threshed, it's turned into flour, ingredients are added, it's turned into bread, and baked into buns. Of course, baking it and cooking this thing also takes energy, which has to be pulled out of the earth, transported to the restaurant, and then used to heat the materials to where they're good enough to eat. Then, look, oh, there's cheese on there. So the cow not only became the meat for here, milk was harvested, then it was fermented and turned into cheese, then the cheese had to be transported and stored and refrigerated until it was finally assembled into the sandwich. And of course the vegetables of onions and pickles, and of course tomatoes for the ketchup, farmers had to grow all that. They had to put it into land that cost money. They had to wait for these things to grow. Then once they grew, they had to harvest them. Somebody had to buy them, transport them to a central processing plant to turn them into their materials, whether they're full onions or tomatoes, and then processed into ketchup and diced up into relish, or the sliced up pickles, which are also put into some dill solution to turn them into dill pickles. By the time you get done with this whole process, you come to realize something. It's like, how can $1 represent the cost of making this sandwich? It's got to be a lot more. And this is what economy is about. That we have this economy that part of it is the responsibility of our government to set up a framework with money, with credit, with roads that connect the entire society, with people and houses that the people live in, and the whole ball of wax. And so some people think, well, taxes are robbery. They take those taxes away from you and you never see them again. And that's true. You never see them again. But maybe you do. Maybe that's part of, corporations don't pay much taxes, but they do produce these products. A sandwich for $1. There's no way $1 actually captures the cost of this. The missing part of the cost of this is paid for by your taxes. I suppose if you didn't pay the taxes and everybody had to pony up the whole process by raising their own cows and raising their own grain and vegetables and doing all this processing, it would come out that a sandwich like this might cost a whole lot more. Maybe $5, $10, $20, $50 if you encapsulated it in that manner. So I just thought I'd mention that, so the next time you eat something simple like a $1 cheap hamburger, you realize that maybe the taxes you pay go somewhat to produce the infrastructure that makes a $1 hamburger possible. Yes, it's almost like a sort of socialism that has been subsidized. There's no such thing as a free meal, but at $1 is a mighty darn good deal. So even though you may not agree with all the companies and the corporations and the way your government does things, there are benefits that economy provides. Economy just isn't money sitting in a pile in a bank. It isn't a bunch of gold sitting in a pile in a vault someplace. Economy is when the people and the money and the process produce things. It's almost like electricity. Money is like electricity flowing through society, through everything, to produce a product. And then people buy products and they use the services, and this makes our economy. If the money is not moving, there is no economy. If the gold is just sitting in a pile someplace, it's not moving. For example, when the gold was all in the ground, it was just sitting there. It was not economy. It's not economy till it gets out of the ground and starts moving through society like electrons through a wire, creating an electric field. And that's what economy is like. So I just thought I would put that to you for ideas about, the idea of taxation, and some people don't like it very much. And I thought I would just give it to you for some food for thought. So until later, we'll be seeing you.